Clint gets his hand on the new Milwaukee Hatchet.
But the PTR guys think they have a better option.
This is your Power Tool Week in Review.
This episode is brought to you by Ohio Power Tool. Pro tools, pro service, all at the best prices at ohiopowertool.com. And Ego, power beyond belief.
Welcome back, Power Tool fans. I'm Rob.
And I'm Sarah. It's September 4th, 2020, and today we have some Power Tool news and all of the tool videos you won't want to miss. Let's get to it.
For the last few months, Cobalt, a brand we rarely covered, has been constantly popping up due to its new XTR series that claims to be professional level tools. This week, VCG decided to find out if the name is worthy of the claim. Vince got a hold of the Cobalt XTR 24-volt max variable speed brushless drive cordless impact wrench. Man, they really need to start simplifying these names. Maybe call this thing Steve? I don't know. Anyways, Vince puts it up against its basic non-XTR brother to determine if the extra $40 is worth it.
James.
What?
They should have called it James.
All right. After using both tools to take off a bunch of lug nuts, they found both versions to have more than enough power to get the job done, but in the end...
For me, I'd rather spend the extra 40 bucks to have the better battery technology and more features.
For the full head-to-head, visit VCG Construction on YouTube.
So you remember that tiny little chainsaw Milwaukee announced at the first pipeline event? Like that one over there behind Rob. Well, it's been popping up a few different places, including the tool review zone. Clint immediately took the new Milwaukee Hatchet out back and began cutting down trees. He even invited his neighbor over to try it out with him. Besides being super small and light, the power was way better than he expected from an M12 tool. He particularly liked the automatic oiler, the super sharp house chain, and nearly perfect ergonomics. Now, if only the newfound confidence would keep him from having this ridiculous dream.
TRC?
No, not again.
TRC.
For the full nightmarish review, head over to Tool Review Zone on YouTube.
Now, it's obvious that Clint clearly found a winner there, but Kenny over at Pro Tool Reviews thinks Clint's an idiot and has a better solution for you. Just put a pruning blade on a recip saw.
He didn't say anything about Clint.
Watch, he says it with his eyes. Now his weapon of choice is the DeWALT atomic one-handed reciprocating saw, and as soon as he swaps in a pruning blade, blammo, you're doing just about everything that tiny chainsaw does, just, a little slower. He actually makes a good point here. Not only is this thing safer, but when you're done, you can swap blades again, and it's back to cutting pipes, 2x4s, or tiny I-beams. And of course, there's no oil to worry about or specific chain sizes to work out. Not a bad thought. And Kenny's not passive-aggressive about it at all.
Of course, you can always stick with your handheld pruners if you like working longer and feeling your hands cramp up. Totally up to you.
Burn! He stopped just short of calling the Tool Review Zone the full PU zone.
Stop.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna stop. You can find Kenny's side of the story at Pro Tool Reviews on YouTube.
And last of all, John Malecki shared a video that's valuable to any tool fan, a top 10 tools for beginner woodworkers. John walks you through not only the basics like circular saws, table saws, pocket hole jigs, and planers, but he talks about different options in each category, then helps you make each choice. If you're just getting started or if you're ready to expand your current tool collection, this is a great place to start. You can find him at John Malecki on YouTube.
All right, guys, it's time again for some actual work with Rob Robillard.
Hey, Rob, Sarah, how are you guys this week?
We're doing all right. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. We're here in the chicken coop property. We're building a chicken coop in the adjoining buildings. And this week's tip, I want to talk about using templates. Templates are used in woodworking and carpentry in all phases of construction, but today we're doing rafters. And the reason why we do a template for rafters is because if you trace one or cut one and then you install it and you cut another one, and every time you do that, it's called graduated error, whether the pencil line increases your cut line or you cut too much of your pencil line. So by using a template, every rafter that you install gets traced off of one template of a rafter that we're working on. This happens to be the chicken coop template. So basically we use this throughout the whole process to install both roofs. So all the rafters, if they're cut a little bit plus or minus of the line, Every rafter gets reset when you retrace it on the template. I hope this helps. Have a great week.
Thank you again, Rob. It's time again for our construction industry news, courtesy of the Construction Junkie. Now, it's obvious I didn't choose to go into construction myself, but that's only because back in high school, they didn't have this. Cat makes great big toys for great big boys, and learning to use them without knocking down the wrong building can be a challenge. Fortunately for random buildings everywhere, Cat Simulators now offers a PC setup that can easily be utilized at home. The setup includes 2 mountable joysticks and a pair of pedals that perfectly mimic a Cat excavator. Now you can safely learn to use one from home, and I can't confirm this, but I'm willing to bet it'll improve your Fortnite scores as well. Now, don't you just hate it when you're imploding another building in the middle of a major city and everyone's like, whoa, cool, and then like a few minutes later, everyone's like, gross. It's because of the dust. Last week, the 15-story Pentagon Plaza Tower, located in Clamart, France, was imploded, but first, the team set up a series of small swimming pools lined with explosives. Just as the building imploded, so did the pools, creating vertical pillars of water that totally stopped nothing. It stopped nothing. Dust went everywhere, and I'm guessing a ton of French people were pissed. More pissed than just daily French pissed. Now, Shane, the construction junkie himself, wrote, and I quote, "It's difficult to quantify, but I'm sure the extra effort still helped reduce the amount of dust." But I don't agree with Shane. Why? Because I watched the videos. I can only assume Shane read about it and then played a happy movie in his head.
Classic Shane.
Classic Shane. For more of those stories and the rest of your construction industry news, head over to constructionjunkie.com.
Swinging over to Instagram, Murray from Kruger Construction showed off this awesome 2-in-1 combo pliers from Crescent that appears to swallow itself whole. Now, I don't know if you guys know this, but the Toolpig family runs a disaster cleanup company, and recently they've been called in to clean up a factory after employees came down with COVID. They use a specialty sprayer from Graco called the Santa Spray to get the job done and get people back to work. And finally, a post from my buddy Sarah of Tool Girls Garage caught my eye. She was running a herringbone tabletop through a planer, which gave me crazy anxiety, but Sarah knows what she's doing. Also, I really want that DeWALT planer. You hear that, DeWALT? Like, just, anytime you want to send me one, it'd be fine.
All right, guys, before we go, we wanted to remind you that if you missed it, yesterday we published a new showcase featuring the Ego 2-stage snowblower, in which you can actually win. So head over to that video after this and be sure to leave a comment so you'll get your shot at it.
He won't let me keep it. Rude.
She's always trying to keep the stuff. All right, that's it for us this week. Special thanks to Ego and Ohio Power Tool for sponsoring this episode. Guys, we couldn't do it without you. Don't forget to join us tomorrow for another episode of Make or Break. And in the middle of a week, catch Sarah's Top 5 DIY.
So be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss a thing.
We'll see you next week.